Hi, my name is Brother Sean, and as you can see from my outfit, I'm an enclosed Franciscan monk, member of the Che community of Interfaith Franciscans. And my guided me to do probably 2 videos, maybe 3, as part of this important subject called End Time Prophecies. It's based on a live webinar I did on Sunday the 20th of March 2011 to members of our community around the world. And my heart in prayer was guided to put it on you. So bear with me, because what I share with you is important. It is not based on fiction, it is not a channeling. It's based on the book of Revelation written by John, the beloved disciple. But the end time prophecies go right back to 6,000 years. When a loving Father, Mother God spoke to his prophets, Isaiah and various other prophets, and they were partakers of important information about what would happen after Jesus' death and the dawn of a new Aquarius, 21st of December 2012. Now, I don't profess to say that this is an academic piece. It's more heart-centered. It comes from the heart, rooted in a life of prayer and simplicity. First, we need to dispel any fear element. There is nothing to be afraid of. If you have embraced your heart and surrendered it to a loving God, that's not a sign of weakness. That's not giving away your power. It's surrendering to the divine already within you. Because before you were born, you coded within your soul the 12 mystery keys, of which one of them is about end time prophecies. But for this first video, a general introduction, end time prophecies, is important. So what is your heart saying to you? No doubt you'll have read various articles, you'll have been on the internet, and you'll have done a search, and you'll have read probably a lot of interesting commentaries on end time prophecies, and some of which will be loaded with a lot of fear. I know recently on Sky TV there was a spiritual person who said that they lived a spiritual life, but what they were saying was quite disastrous, and it was not of God. It was more about ego, and it could have been under the influence of the Antichrist, who creates fear and disharmony. The message from God through the prophets, through the saints, the holy men and women of different traditions, who came to this planet as emissaries of peace, and many of whom were privileged from their quiet times with God to know the mind of God, being what will happen to mankind. And you know as I know that on today, the 21st of March 2011, we have had several recent wake-up calls from God, from Mother Earth. Take Japan, one of the most wealthiest, if not the wealthiest country in the world. A beautiful people, a genuine, sincere people who learned their lesson from the previous war. And bless their hearts, when the tsunami hit them, the only things they were left with, those they were standing up in. Everything was taken from them. Everything. And that was a wake-up call from Mother Earth, from Almighty God, for you and I to take stock of our life, to cease our violence, to cease our revenge, our greed, to stop pillaging the earth, and to embrace a more holistic style of living that incorporates spirituality, not necessarily religion that's rooted in dogma. But on the 7th of February 2011, the Divine Feminine and Magdalena guided my heart to launch a new live stream channel called Heart to Soul, which goes live every morning at 9 o'clock and at o'clock every evening for morning and evening prayer, with a 1-hour vigil for peace and interfaith unity, where we hold Jerusalem, the heart chakra of the world, and Mother Earth. And we also send love, light and blessing to the Abrahamic faith, Jew, Muslim and Christian, because the majority of them are obeying the letter of God's law to a T, but the spirit and the heart of God's love would appear to be compromised and sacrificed on the altars of ego. So end-time prophecies are real. Why do I say that? Because the prophecies were told going back 6,000 years have been implemented already. The first trumpet sounded by the angel as recorded in the book of Revelation has already happened. The second trumpet has already sounded with crisis in the Middle East, and it was foretold by Nostradamus that the next world war, the Third World War, will originate from the Middle East. And trust me, the fires of God's love have started in the East, from Afghanistan, making their way down now through the whole of the Middle East. And if you watch the news, you will see that we have brothers of the same faith, Islam, tearing each other apart in the name of Allah, in the name of God. These have been prophesied. These are prophecies that you and I are seeing implemented before our very eyes. But what does the rest of the world do? Well, because it doesn't involve us directly, we sort of give a haphazard connection to it. But as a child of God, I am partly responsible, because we are all connected, we are all one family. And the mystical heart of God isn't a devotion, it's a way of life, to a loving Father, Mother God of all faiths and none, who invites his children, her children, to agape, to celebration. And that's why we were given the vision by Francis of Assisi in 2006, not to establish a new religion, not to become a new age happy-clappy brigade of sunflower children, but to reach out to all faiths and none and demonstrate the love of the mystical heart of God by not coercing people to believe in a false ideology, but to show them God's love in action, through forgiveness, through compassion, integrity, through love. And as a member of the Teo community, we endorse the United Nations Charter of Compassion that was inspired by a great woman, Karen Armstrong, who, interestingly, was a former nun around the same time as I was a young nursing monk. But today, end-time prophecies is not a child's story or a fictitious play. It's a reality. It's happening. The tsunami of Japan has been a wake-up call from God and Mother Earth to all mankind, not just to Japanese, to the whole world, to go back into their heart and to reflect on who are they, who am I, why am I here, what is my sole purpose. And sadly, mankind has lost the art of reawakening the divine within them. People are too busy today making their fortune or wallowing in fear. Many have disregarded the invitation of God to come back into their heart. Have you? I look forward to speaking to you shortly.